Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be reading some Reddit stories while I do some more building in Minecraft. I'm really trying to expand on my port and bring more life to my world, so if you have any suggestions for builds I can add, drop them below. I have 6 stories for you today, all of which revolve around having a roommate. More specifically, a bad roommate. It gets crazy, so let's jump in. He started turning off the hot water again, this time before he left for the weekend. I've got a historically bad roommate, but I'm just here to vent about one aspect. He turns off the hot water to save it for himself in the mornings. I know this because he told me this verbally one day while he was in the middle of doing it. I point blank told him to stop. After making some complaints to the manager, he stopped, but it started up again recently. I've been washing my dishes with boiled water and showering in the middle of winter with cold showers. I've got the first pimple I've had in a long time, and sure, it could be a coincidence, but it could also be I can't properly wash my face with no hot water. I went on a medication for about 8 months with a lot of side effects to get rid of cystic acne, and having it crop up again is making me think of the worst, but I digress. I turned it on in the cylinder cupboard, surprised. It's working again. I hate this guy. He turned it off before he left for the weekend, and I only figured it out today. He spends every weekend with his parents. He's like a 40-year-old alcoholic baby. He stays up all night shouting at the walls too. Not because he's genuinely mentally ill, but because he drinks himself into a semi-lucid state and yells that he can't sleep as if mom and dad are going to come and coo in his ear. Fed up with this guy. The manager is too, but she's nice and doesn't want to kick his ass to the curb. The hot water is one of the more tame things he's done for context, but he's just a rotten roommate. Pretty sure he's why the roommate before me left, and why another person just left a month ago. I've been here about 6 months only. One commenter says, there is no reason to turn off the hot water heater other than to be an ass. How can he be saving it for the morning when it's not even hot anymore? Is he really that ignorant? OP replies, it's unrealistic how stupid it all is, but honest to God, this guy does it with that logic. It's what he told me anyways. I think he gets up early to turn it on for himself, then waits. But if he just got up early, it'd be hot for him anyways. I genuinely don't get it. He's even turned it off in the middle of my showers before. What the fuck is that gonna do? It's just annoying. It stopped for a while, so it didn't click he did it again this weekend until now. My roommate is leaving on vacation now. I'm stuck covering her rent. My roommate is leaving, and now I'm stuck covering her rent while she spends money on a tattoo. What would you do? My roommate is leaving to California on the 19th. We split rent, and she's supposed to be responsible for roughly $1,000 of it. The problem is that she apparently didn't save enough money before leaving, so she's only giving me $500 towards what she owes. I'm now left having to figure out roughly $1,500 in rent basically by myself. What makes me especially upset is that she has repeatedly told me she couldn't save anything and didn't have enough money. Yesterday, she told me she's getting a $200 tattoo from an artist in California while she's there. So realistically, if she didn't spend that $200 on a tattoo, she could have given me $700 instead of $500 towards the rent. I'm already struggling financially. I literally just had to spend $340 getting my car fixed, and the money I have available is also needed for my younger brother. My grandma sent me money specifically to help take care of him, including buying him clothes and school supplies. I don't feel right using that money to make up for my roommate not saving her own rent. Meanwhile, I've had a tattoo appointment planned since May, and this is the second time I've had to cancel it because I need to prioritize bills and make sure I can afford everything. I'm mad that she's telling me that she can't afford to pay what she owes, while still choosing to spend $200 on something completely unnecessary. What would you guys do in this situation? I need help. One commenter says, WTF, why are you enabling this? You were so matter of fact when you said, now I'm stuck covering her rent. Are you for real? You are being used. You are allowing her to use you. Tough love. OP responds, I just don't even know what to do. I'm planning on texting her when she leaves. I'm 19 and she turns 21 in September. When she first asked about it, I told her I didn't want to use my brother's money, and she literally rolled her eyes at me. We've been best friends for 2 years and we work together too. I just hate this, and I don't want to be uncomfortable in my own home if we got into an argument. I live with her and I'm taking care of my younger brother. He's 15. I don't have any parents to ask for my help. My mom died in February. I'm so fucked up and stressed. Another commenter replies, Kiddo, I'm saying this kindly. She is not your friend, and definitely not your best friend. She is using you because you have been letting her get away with this crap. Do not wait for before she leaves. Talk to her now and put your foot down. What are you gonna do next month when she gets back and says she now has $0 to pay rent with, and force you to go get money from your brother. You know deep inside that will happen, right? If your rental contract is in separate tenant contracts, like you have one and she has one with the LL, talk to the landlord and absolutely do not pay for her part. OP gave a small update saying, I'm telling her tomorrow morning that I am not paying her rent. I will update her response tomorrow. And then OP gave another update. I told her I'm not paying her rent, and she told me she is giving me the full amount now suddenly. Problem solved. That's good that OP was able to resolve this. I don't know how you'd be able to come up with $1,500 just on a whim. This was posted 10 days ago, so that's like, what, 2 weeks to figure out $1,500? Housemate's boyfriend has been visiting for like 2 months now. My housemate, who's my friend of many years, told me her boyfriend from another country would be visiting in September for a month. Fine, not really like I had a say in that matter. This man showed up mid-June with no prior communication with me and has been in my house since. He has basically colonized the living room, and I feel uncomfortable using the common spaces because either he's in there or they're there together. When he came in June, she told me he would be here for a month and a half. Now she tells me he's leaving mid-September because he had set travel dates, something I should have been informed of. I really just hate the concept of sharing space with a man. He's messy and leaves the toilet seat up often enough for me to notice, with pee in it. He cooks and leaves the kitchen in a mess. I come back home from work and he hasn't opened the windows all day, so the house is stuffy. I feel like I have a third roommate who I didn't sign up for. There's really no solution, and I'm just here to vent because when I try to talk about it, I begin to feel like my lived experience doesn't matter. So very tired. I don't even like going home now to this loud, obnoxious burps. Edit. I appreciate all the words, but please don't yell at me. I'm not passive in this. I just needed a place to vent my frustrations without seeming like a bitch. And I'm not on the lease, so I don't have much control when it comes to speaking with the landlord. Roommate has been lying to me and getting extra money for bills every month. I live with my boyfriend, who is more so a roommate at this point, and he's on disability, so he can get bills that are tailored more to his income rather than them being the regular cost. At this moment, he is unemployed and currently a semi-functioning opioid addict. No hate to addicts, as it's a disease, but kind of relevant to this story as he has a habit he needs to maintain. I work as a hostess 3 times a week, and if I work anymore, it's usually a hostile and passive-aggressive environment at home, therefore I don't work any more than that. On to the bills. For the past few months, we have been going 50-50 on bills, and he just writes the amounts down, and I give him 50% of the bills. Last night, I was trying to open the energy bill because I only make $200 to $300 a week, so I was trying to kind of budget as I pay for groceries and stuff too. I ask him to open it, he lets me start opening it, and then starts grabbing it from me and shows me the energy usage part, but his hand is shaking, holding the paper, and is hiding the amount due. The usage was $360, and the amount due is $50 due to the program he's on. I make $200 to $300 a week. $180 versus $25 is very different for my financial situation. He was trying to hide it until I opened it myself because I felt iffy. He tries to lie to me and say, no, I still need to have the full amount in my account, and then switches his story up. His final story is at the end of the year, whatever is over the allotment of the program will be owed, so that big sum will still have to be paid. I was like, well, what have you been doing with the money then? Why wouldn't you tell me only 50 is coming out of your account? And he was like, don't worry what I do with the money, I'm good with my money. And then he switches it on me and he's like, I just didn't trust you to have the amount at the end of the year to pay the large amount. It's the principle though. I make $200 to $300 a week, and I walk on eggshells working more because I don't want him to be angry with me or accuse me of cheating on him. The bills are relatively still super low, but it's just the principle. Like, why would you try to pocket the money I work for because I don't trust you now and I don't feel comfortable giving any money to you because now I feel you are using it to fuel your drug habit. My girl roommate hates me because I'm a girl. I've been living in this for over a year. Lots of roommates have come and gone in that time because nobody wants to live here. 3 of us are long-term tenants, me, 1+ year, the evil bitch, 3 years, the useless man, 7 years. Because the other 2 have lived here longer and have known each other for 10+ years, they treat it like it's their house. All of the common areas, storage, etc. is overrun with their shit, and I have no storage for any of my things. My room has no storage. I've had to buy my own. They've been hooking up on and off for the entire time they've known each other. but he won't commit to her, and I found out later that she didn't want me to move in because she doesn't like girls and can only get along with men. Classic pick-me. He's made a few flirty comments towards me, which I've rejected. She is incredibly hostile to me because she thinks I'm the one initiating. Shock. She's also incredibly filthy and doesn't buy anything for the house, such as soap, toilet paper, etc., which we take turns. If she does buy anything, it's once every several months and significantly less than the amount I buy, so it becomes my turn to buy again very quickly, and she refuses to acknowledge. I had a conversation with the man when we were looking for a new housemate, and she overheard and went completely ballistic. Him and I both went back to our rooms, and she started screaming in the kitchen and slamming things, clearly directed at me. She's completely mental, she doesn't have a job, doesn't ever leave the house. He covers her rent in return for her sleeping with him. I'm afraid to leave my room because she's crazy and tells me I need to start cleaning things that only she uses. She also accuses me of stealing her things and going in her room, which I have never done. The both of them also smoke weed inside until 2 a.m. sometimes, which I think contributes to them losing their things. He is very aware of how insane she is and has acknowledged it, and also mentioned he doesn't want to be involved in drama, so he stays out of it as much as possible, and I avoid her completely, but she always finds something to pick at. When he does get involved, he obviously takes her side even though he knows she's wrong, but he is incredibly loyal to her because of their long-term friendship. I have no say in who moves in now, and they've made sure it's only men. She's incredibly kind and polite to the men in the house, so I have nobody here who understands what I'm going through. I feel like I'm living with my abusers again, only this time, and I'm paying to live here. I can't afford to move out, and it's affecting me mentally so bad. I have no friends or family to turn to, and I honestly just want to drop dead. How do I cope until I can get out of here? One commenter says, literally laugh at her when she starts going cocoa bananas. Unfortunately, treating her that way may give her a wake-up call. How does she have any money? OP responds, I'll try that. She doesn't, he pays for everything. How to handle living with sister-in-law, female 18, potential kicking out. I'm 20 female, and I live with my boyfriend, 21M, our 7-month-old baby, and my boyfriend's 18-year-old sister. We live in a trailer home, so space is already limited. My boyfriend works weekdays all day, and I work Sunday through Thursday all day. His sister pays the electricity bill recently, but otherwise she contributes very little to the household. Once in a blue moon, my boyfriend asks her to clean one section of the house. She usually gets assigned to the bathroom, but when I've checked afterward, it has either been poorly cleaned or looked exactly almost the same as before. She was also supposed to clean the kitchen after both my boyfriend asked her and their mom told her to, but it was never done. One time I was pregnant and craving Jollibee, so me and my boyfriend left to Chicago. I left a pot of noodle water on the stove and asked her to clean it since he forgot to. We arrived home and it was still there with a foul stench. I understand it was my fault, but it would have been nice to help. The bigger issue is that she regularly leaves messes behind for other people to deal with. For example, she invited a friend over to cook, and afterward there was oil on the floor, pepper seeds everywhere, and dishes left out. Even after my boyfriend asked her to clean it, I eventually ended up doing it because it was never done. She also has left pans with food sitting on the stove for days until my boyfriend tells her to wash them. She doesn't wash dishes that I make, and I often end up washing hers because I don't like living in a messy house. One of the biggest issues happened when my baby was between 1 to 3 months old. She would open weed in her room, and the smell would spread throughout the entire trailer. I was extremely upset having that smell around my newborn, and would be locked up in our bedroom since the smell was the least strongest there. She continued doing it a few times after we brought it up, and it only stopped after my boyfriend threatened to kick her out. She also vapes inside the house, which I have made clear that I'm not okay with, especially with the baby living here. But she said it doesn't leave a residue. My boyfriend has asked his parents whether they are planning on having her move back home. However, their mom says they need her old bedroom for her business. I don't feel like it's my place to parent her or tell her what to do. At the same time, I feel like I shouldn't have to clean up after another adult while working full-time and taking care of a baby. We also need the extra bedroom soon because we're running out of space and need room for the baby's things. It's gotten to the point where my boyfriend has told me to start looking for places closer to my family, since we currently live about 30 to 40 minutes away from them. His suggestion is that we move out rather than continue living with his sister. How do I approach this? What can be done from this point? One of the commenters says, okay, I read some of your other posts, and even though you have a baby together, you genuinely need to evaluate whether you're going to be happy spending the rest of your life with this guy. taking space and moving out with your baby is an option here. But yeah, I'm gonna wrap it there. This video is pretty short. I was kind of expecting to get more out of it. I've been kind of struggling to find longer Reddit stories. Maybe I'll just have to look for like older ones, but I've been kind of wanting to read more newer ones because I want people to like be like, "Oh, I haven't heard this before." Anyway, thank you for listening. Please like, comment, subscribe, and yeah, see you in the next one.